What if I told you that some of the most powerful businesses in the world are companies you've probably never thought about? Not because they're small, not because they're struggling, but because they operate so quietly that most people never notice them. Think about the biggest brands you know: Apple, Amazon, McDonald's, Netflix. These companies get all the attention. They're on billboards, they're in commercials, they're constantly in the news. But hidden behind those famous brands is another world, a world filled with businesses that most people have never heard of. Businesses that don't sell flashy products. Businesses that don't have celebrity CEOs. Businesses that rarely advertise, and yet some of them generate billions of dollars every year. In fact, many of them make money every single day from products and services you already use, without you ever realizing it. And once you see how these businesses work, you'll start noticing them everywhere. Let's start with one of the most invisible businesses on the planet. A business that quietly takes a small piece of millions of transactions every day, and because that piece is so small, almost nobody pays attention to it. Imagine you're buying a coffee. The total comes to $4. You tap your card. The payment goes through in seconds. You grab your coffee and leave. Simple. Or at least it looks simple. What most people don't see is what happens behind the scenes. The moment your card touches the payment terminal, an entire network wakes up. Banks communicate with each other. Payment processors verify information. Security systems check for fraud. Approval requests travel across digital highways in fractions of a second. And every step of that process involves companies getting paid. Tiny amounts, just a few cents. Sometimes even less. But here's the secret. When billions of transactions happen every year, those tiny amounts become enormous fortunes. Think about it. If a company earns only 10 cents from a transaction, that doesn't sound impressive. But what happens when it processes 1 billion transactions? Now we're talking about $100 million, and many payment companies handle far more than that. This is one of the most powerful business models ever created, because these companies don't need to convince customers to spend more. They simply participate whenever money moves, and money moves constantly. Whether the economy is booming or slowing down, whether people buy groceries, gas, clothes, or electronics, the transaction still happens, and someone collects a fee. Most people focus on the store. The payment companies focus on the flow of money itself, and that's a completely different game. Now let's look at another business most people never think about. Packaging. Not the product, the box, the container, the wrapper, the thing most people throw away within seconds. Imagine ordering something online. You excitedly open the package, take out the product, then toss the cardboard box into the recycling bin. End of story. Except it isn't. Because someone made that box. Someone manufactured the tape. Someone produced the labels. Someone supplied the protective material inside. Someone built the machines that printed everything. Entire industries exist around products most consumers barely notice. And the reason is simple. Every physical product needs packaging. Every smartphone, every toy, every pair of shoes, every delivery, every food item, everything. The companies making those materials aren't competing for individual customers. They're supplying thousands of businesses, which means one contract can be worth millions. A company selling boxes isn't trying to sell one box. They're trying to sell millions of boxes, year after year, to the same customers. That's where the real money is. And once you understand that, you begin seeing a pattern. Many of the richest businesses aren't selling exciting products. They're selling necessities. Things other businesses cannot operate without. Now let's talk about something even more surprising. Waste. Yes, garbage. Most people see trash as a problem, but some businesses see it as a gold mine. Think about your neighborhood. Every week, garbage trucks appear. They collect waste, then disappear. Simple enough. But behind that simple service is a massive industry, because garbage never stops. People create waste every day. Homes, restaurants, factories, hospitals, office buildings, schools. Every one of them needs waste removal. And unlike many industries, customers can't simply decide to stop using the service. Imagine canceling Netflix. Easy. Imagine canceling garbage collection. Not so easy. That's why waste management businesses often enjoy something investors love: predictable revenue, month after month, year after year. The trucks keep moving, the bills keep getting paid, and the money keeps flowing. But surprisingly, waste collection isn't even the most profitable part of the industry. And the next business we're going to discuss may be even more invisible than everything we've covered so far, because most people use it every day without ever seeing it. And once you realize how much money it generates, you may never look at the modern economy the same way again. So far, we've talked about payment processors, packaging companies, and waste management businesses. All of them have something in common. Most people rarely think about them. Yet they sit underneath the economy, collecting money every day. But now we're moving into an even more interesting category: businesses that power modern life itself. And the first one might be the most important business you've never seen. Every day, millions of packages travel across cities, countries, and continents. You click a button online. A few days later, a package arrives at your door. Simple. At least from the customer's perspective. But behind that package is an enormous machine. Warehouses, sorting centers, cargo planes, shipping containers, delivery trucks, thousands of employees, millions of square feet of infrastructure. Entire businesses exist for one purpose: moving products from one place to another. And here's what's fascinating. Most customers only notice the company they bought from. Amazon, Walmart, Target. But often the real work is being done by logistics companies operating behind the scenes. Because products don't magically appear at your doorstep. Someone has to transport them. Someone has to store them. Someone has to organize them. Someone has to track them. And every step generates revenue. The more global commerce grows, the more valuable these logistics networks become. In many ways, logistics companies don't sell products. They sell movement. And in the modern economy, movement is worth billions. Now let's look at something even stranger. A business that powers almost everything you do online. Yet most people have never seen one in person. Data centers. Imagine sending a message, watching a YouTube video, using online banking, checking social media, streaming a movie. Where does all that information actually live? Many people imagine the cloud, but the cloud isn't floating in the sky. The cloud is a building. Actually, thousands of buildings. Massive facilities filled with servers, rows upon rows of computers running 24 hours a day. Every website, every app, every video, every file, every search, all stored somewhere. And companies are willing to pay enormous amounts of money to keep their data secure, available, and fast. Think about what happens if a major website goes offline for just 1 hour. The losses can be enormous. That's why businesses pay premium prices for reliable data infrastructure. The result? Data centers have become some of the most valuable real estate assets in the world. They don't sell products. They don't entertain customers. They simply provide the digital foundation of modern life. And they make billions doing it. But here's where things get really interesting, because all the businesses we've discussed share the same hidden advantage. They operate behind the spotlight. Most entrepreneurs dream about creating the next Apple, the next Nike, the next Netflix. They want attention, visibility, recognition. But many of the wealthiest businesses don't chase attention at all. They focus on something else. Necessity. Think about it. People can choose not to buy luxury products. People can cancel entertainment subscriptions. People can delay major purchases. But businesses still need payment systems. Businesses still need packaging. Cities still need waste collection. Companies still need logistics. The internet still needs data centers. These aren't wants, they're needs. And businesses built around needs often become incredibly resilient. Because when times get tough, the world still depends on them. This leads to one of the biggest money lessons hidden in today's video. Many people focus on visible wealth, the flashy company, the famous brand, the exciting product. But often the smartest businesses sit quietly underneath the entire system. They're not selling the final product. They're selling the infrastructure that makes the final product possible. And infrastructure businesses have a powerful advantage. When multiple companies depend on your service, your customer base becomes much larger than any single brand. It's the difference between opening one restaurant and supplying thousands of restaurants. The difference between selling one product and supporting an entire industry. That's where scale begins. And scale is where extraordinary wealth is often created. So the next time you see a package arrive at your door, the next time you tap your card to buy coffee, the next time you throw away a cardboard box, the next time you stream a video online, remember this: somewhere in the background, a business you barely notice is getting paid. Not because it sells the most exciting product, not.